I'm John, owner of Phillips Glass. Uh, we specialize in glass and window replacement, uh, window glass replacement. Um, we don't do full window replacement. So if you have a failed unit or a broken unit, we'll come in and measure it and quote it. And if you allow us to help you, then we order it and we can install the glass. That way you don't have to do construction on your house per se. Um, we also do custom shower glass enclosures. We do commercial storefronts. We repair commercial storefronts. We do custom mirror, custom glass cutting. You know, pretty much if it involves glass in one way or another, we can help you. I became the owner of Phillips Glass February 1st of 2025. The original owner, Philip Moore, Phil, he created Phillips Glass in 2003, so it was his baby for 22 years, and then I worked for him for several years, and he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. When he was ready to retire, he didn't want to have to find us jobs. He kind of took that on himself, and and you know, after a couple of years of working for him, he saw potential in me, promoted me, um, and I worked side by side with him for years, learning the ins and outs of the glass business. So yeah, officially became the owner February 1st of 2025. I moved here from Montana with this job. Um, But Phil and several other companies that I had tried to interview with over the phone, they were interested, but they were they didn't want to hire me sight unseen, if you will. And so I bought a plane ticket, flew down here, stayed at a buddy of mine's house, and interviewed with 5 or 6 different companies. And honestly, Phillips Glass was he rubbed me wrong, right? The during the interview. Uh, if you don't know Phil, he comes across very gruff, very opinionated. But once you get to know him, you see through that. You see that there's a method to his madness. He's just a straight shooter. He calls it how it is. Um, but he offered me a job, and that's the one I accepted, and I've been blessed by it. So I'm grateful for that. You know, I've worked in construction my whole life, minus my time in the military, uh, building houses. So I've been working with glass, installing windows and stuff in homes that I've built, remodels and such as that. Um, and then I got tired of that. So then I actually transferred over to a company up in Kalispell, Montana, doing full-time glass work, just handling glass. Started out as a full window replacement foreman for the crew, and then quickly switched over to the commercial side, and got skilled in that. So then when I came here, you know, Phil him and hawed about, you don't have as much skill as I thought you did. You don't have much time, blah blah blah. So I had to convince him that I had the propensity to gain knowledge quickly, and that I could reapply it, so I wouldn't be brand new every day. And Phil was never one for attaboys or pats on the back, but he made sure to show his appreciation where it counts, and that's in the pocketbook. Phil gave me many raises, even though he griped about hiring me at the wage that he did. It didn't take him long to give me a raise, and I earned every step of it. Um, Under Phil's tutelage, I learned a lot of the finer details and a lot of the whys and hows of what we do, instead of just the backbreaking part of it, of taking out glass and putting in new glass. Um, Learning the differences of the low E's, the thicknesses of the glass, the different types of obscure glass, um, how to fine tune your measurements so that when you go and order a piece of glass, you don't have to order it 5 times because you don't measure it correctly. The importance of that attention to detail, you know, and not becoming too cocky, if you will, arrogant in that you know what you're doing. You always double and triple check your measurements before you order the glass. Um, I strong-willed, uh, easily took over the cruise when he had me on cruise. Um, but I was also the one that got my butt chewed when something didn't go right. So I figured if I'm the one getting chewed on, then I'm the one who's going to make the decisions if he's not there. Uh, but he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot about business, the glass business. There was stuff that he didn't teach me that I've had to learn, but more importantly, what he taught me was more about people. I have a background with some minor psychology, yada yada yada. But he kind of had the same but different outlook on people and how to deal with customers and how to relate to people. And that when we go into someone's home, we're not just going in there to try to get work. We're going in there to build a relationship. And and so that really resonated with me a lot. And that was something that pat self on back, I guess. I'm good at. If there was one thing that I would want people to know about Phillips Glass is that we pride ourselves on integrity and giving quality work for an honest price. We're not in Phillips Glass to try to line our pockets and get rich. We make a living, and but we do so honestly. I try to be. If I'm in the lower side of South OKC, I treat them just the same as if I'm in Gaillardia or in Oak Tree. I treat everyone equally, and I give them 100% of the knowledge that I have, whether that generates work for me or gives it to someone else. I'm okay with that as long as I'm honest, upfront, and fair. I have a team of guys that are my installers, and they do great work. We may not be the fastest crew in town, we may not be the biggest crew in town, but at the end of the day, when we walk away from a job, there's little that can come back on us for not doing quality work. So we stand behind what we do, and we're proud of what we do. So if there was one thing about Phillips Glass that I would want people to know is that what you can bet and take to the bank with us every time is that we're going to give it to you straight, we're going to give it to you honest, and let the cards fall where they may. We service, really OKC Metro. Norman is a little bit of a stretch, but I've started taking jobs in Norman. So from Guthrie to Norman, we don't really get a lot on the east side, but Del City, Midwest City, all the way out to Yukon and Mustang. We really haven't done much in El Reno. We have done a few things a little outside, but it's typically for realtors that are regular customers with us, contractors that use us regularly for their showers. They get an outside job, and we try to work with them and reach out where we can. If we can make it count, then we will. But I don't want to do jobs that are so far out. If it's just one window, you're going to be better off finding someone closer to you, because the labor that I have to charge to get us out there to do the work is going to be high. So I try to be upfront and honest about that. One of the things that people usually call us on is either window breakage or seal failure. And so a lot of times either they're getting ready to put their house on the market or it's already on the market, and these came up in an inspection, or they're just trying to preemptively get their house together before they put it on the market. And so, you know, that's mainly it. Or showers, custom showers. A lot of the calls that we get are for seal failure or window breakage. Uh, we a lot of times we get that a landscaping crew has come through, a weed eater threw up a rock and broke a window, and they're really hoping that they don't have to do a full window replacement and have to do construction on their home because of the broken glass. And so that's where we specialize in coming in and being able to just replace the glass within the unit. A question that always comes up during those conversations as well is, can we just replace the one piece of glass, or do we have to replace both? And the answer is that we have to replace both because they're sealed together to keep the air out. And so we can't just replace the one. It just doesn't quite work that way. People often call us for questions about custom showers. They're thinking about doing remodels, or they've gotten into a remodel and they need shower glass, and they want to know why us versus a kit from the box stores, from your Lowe's or your Home Depots. And the short answer is, what we provide is custom glass. We'll come in, we custom measure it. We custom measure your out of plumb, your out of levels, your widths, your heights, and every piece of glass then flows cleanly. What you get at the big box stores is just that, is a big box that fits a parameter of windows and is not custom made for your shower. When looking at doing remodels in a bathroom, or things to do to your home to increase value, you think about kitchens, bathrooms, and curb appeal. So where we shine is being able to replace glass so that the curb appeal looks very good and clean from inside and out. We come in, we can upgrade to a low E glass if they have just clear glass, which makes the home way more efficient. All the way into the bathroom, where we can put in a custom shower glass with heavy glass, 3/8 glass, and tailor make it to fit the homeowner's needs and wants, while also ensuring that their safety is at the top of what we're doing as we install it. Where when you get it from Lowe's or Home Depot or the other box stores, they'll send in a crew, but it's a crew that doesn't really have the experience or the desire to make the homeowner happy. They're just there because that's their job. We take pride and try to build a relationship with the customers, and I think it shows in the finished work that we do. I have a dozen or more contractors, local contractors and remodelers.
Started off by saying at Phillips Glass we have.
Okay. At Phillips Glass, we have a dozen or more local contractors, handymen that go into people's homes. And a thing that I've incorporated into this since I've been the owner is that they bring me in the beginning so that we can be a part of the collective idea of what's going on, and we can help kind of mold and make the idea come to life. When I can be there with the contractor and the homeowner in the beginning, I can answer questions and concerns from the start and not come in at the end when that's when our work is done. So it's a process that we start with from the beginning. Another thing that Phillips Glass prides itself on is being able to come in and give a broader picture to homeowners, where they kind of get an idea of what they want. They see it on the internet, but sometimes it's not feasible. And so being able to come in the beginning and kind of create their idea for them in a manner that's going to be safe and applicable to what they have, that really helps a lot. Plus, it also helps the contractor know, as he's doing the remodel and building it back up, where he's got to put studs, where he needs to have good stability for our glass to be able to come in and set it right the first time and be done with it. I often get the question, can somebody just replace the glass instead of the whole window? And the answer is absolutely yes, 100%. Looking back over the years that I've been working just here in Edmond for and with Phillips Glass, I want to say there might be 2 cases where we were not able to do what needed to be done. So therefore they had to have a full window replacement. And typically that's because there was frame damage due to hail or a rock breaking the frame. Once the frame has been damaged, at that point, we can't really help. So I have a guy that I work with regularly who does full window replacement, and refer him right away. A question that Phillips Glass, we often get asked here at Phillips Glass is, if only one piece of glass is broken, or if a glass is broken, do we have to replace the whole window? And the answer is absolutely not. You don't have to replace the whole window. We can come in and measure and just replace the insulated glass unit, the IG that's there. And in fact, that's what we specialize in. That is kind of our niche market, if you will. Being able to help people fix the problems that they have without having to go to the huge degree. Why do windows get foggy is another question that comes up. And there's several answers to that. A lot of it has to do with weather. In the summertime, it gets really hot. In the wintertime, it gets cold. Expansion and contraction just causes that stuff to fail over time. The lifespan of an IG is anywhere from about 10 to 15 years. Now, there's homes that'll have it for 20 years, but often it's because of the weather. Another big factor is sprinkler systems. People have their sprinkler systems that hit the window. They're designed to shed rain, but they're not designed to take a deluge of water every day, 3 times a day, on the watering cycle of their grass. And so that's often another reason why we see a lot of seal failure. What someone should do if glass breaks, immediately give us a call, right? It's a safety problem. Don't try to handle it until you speak with us. That way I can help assess the job, assess the situation over the phone with you. If it's an annealed IG, I say stay away from it because it breaks in big shards that are very sharp, and if it's a large window, could be very dangerous. If it is that sort of a situation, we try to make it exceptions and get there right away to try to at least mitigate some of the safety issues that they may have until we can get the replacement in. If it's a tempered piece of glass, usually those shatter into 1,000 pieces. And if it doesn't fall out on the ground automatically, a thing that you can do if you're comfortable with, I highly suggest you wear gloves, is take packing tape, 2-inch wide clear packing tape. You go around the edge of the glass, and then you kind of just cross it off. And you always go across the point of impact, but you just put light pressure just to get the tape to make contact. And oftentimes that keeps all that glass from falling out and making a huge mess. Tempered glass is safety glass. It can still cut you, but it's not as likely as an annealed piece of glass would. If people have broken glass, one of the first things that I highly suggest doing is contacting us here at Phillips Glass or another glass company. Don't contact the handyman. Don't contact your contractor. Contact the glass company. We specialize in handling glass. If it's an annealed piece of glass, it breaks in big shards, very sharp, can be very dangerous. If it's a large window or a high window, I mean, it could be catastrophic. You know, Lord willing, that doesn't happen, but it can happen. So if you call us at Phillips Glass, we're a small company, which means that I can make room in my schedule to come and help you and your family be more safe. I can move my schedule around to get there, to assess your situation, take action to prevent further damage from happening until we can get you taken care of. Oftentimes we get phone calls and people ask, what type of pictures should we send for you to give us a quote? And the answer is, if you want to send pictures, that could help. Um, we could give you a rough quote over the phone, but I don't stand behind those until I come and physically measure and assess the window myself. Um, because I don't want to be misleading. With pictures and guessing, you know, my numbers could be way off. I prefer not to give a quote over the phone. However, I understand that people want immediate gratification sometimes, and they like to have an idea before you get there. And so I'm willing to do that. So a picture of the outside of the window and a picture of the inside. When you send a picture of the inside, make sure there's enough lighting so that I can see the detail of the window frame, so that I can see the type of glazing bead that's on the window. If I can tell if the window is a vinyl or an aluminum window. Um, if it's not broken in 1,000 pieces and you feel comfortable enough, give me a measure of daylight. Measure what you see of glass and give me those measurements. That can get me close enough to where I can get into a ballpark I'm comfortable with. Um, and, you know, but most certainly, if it's large, broken, it could be very unsafe. So be careful when dealing with broken glass. Proper measuring is important due to aesthetics, really. The fit and the finish of what we do is something that we pride ourselves in. If I come in and put in a piece of glass into your window that is a 1/4 inch too short, you could get gaps where you get wind coming in. You you know, just a whole assortment of things can happen. Uh, Not to mention the fact that I have to reorder the glass anyways if it's not correct, because we don't want to put in a window that is not measured correctly. Getting those fine-tuned measurements really helps us. The glazing beads on a lot of these windows has to touch the glass so that it locks into place properly. So if you do too much deduction or not enough deduction, you don't have enough room to get your glazing bead in, or it's really sloppy. And then therefore it's not doing its job holding the glass in until our glue sets in. If I'm coming in and doing an estimate for you on windows that you have selected, that's free of charge. I get to your home as quickly as I can, typically within a day or two, barring it being Friday, and then it'll be a Monday that I get there. I measure it. If it's not a specialty window that I have to get quoted from my supplier, typically I can quote it right there on site. So before I walk away, you know how much it's going to be. Then once I'm done, then I come back, I type it up, send it to you in an official estimate. In that official estimate, once you receive it in the email, you can accept it or deny it or not do anything. If you accept it, then I order the glass from one of my 2 main suppliers usually, and it takes about 10 to 14 business days for me to receive the glass. At the point that I receive the glass, I QC it, make sure everything is tight and right, as good as I can, and then we get you on the schedule as quick as we can. So anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks after I come and measure your windows, we should be getting your new ones in and installed. Here at Phillips Glass, we work with both homeowners and business owners. We pride ourselves in trying to reach out into the community in all aspects. We try to give accurate, detailed knowledge of whatever any glass questions people may have. What I would really like for this video series to do for our customers and our community is just give more knowledge about glass, about home ownership, about remodeling, and all the aspects of what it takes to own a home and run a business. Uh, you know, Edmond is it's a good sized town, but it has a small town feel to it. And in that, I guess there's the idea that we're all collectively in this together, and if I take care of you, you take care of me, and we get to the point where relationship becomes more of our currency than our time and our money. We build a rapport with each other, we build a trust, and we build a community that stands firm on itself. I'm John. I'm the proud owner of Phillips Glass Company. We've been established since 2003 under Phil, the original owner, and this is kind of where we'll be answering common questions about glass, about construction, about any questions that you may have concerning any aspect of your home that we may be able to provide you knowledge with. Our mission at Phillips Glass is to provide sustainable and aesthetically exceptional glass solutions that enhance the built environment and improve our customers' lives.